how do you pair intermittent fasting with keto for the best results? Well, there's a couple schools of thought on this, and I've had success with both. And so I pair intermittent fasting with keto by not eating every day until probably 11 o'clock. And so I always eat between 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. And that seems to give me enough time in the evening after I've eaten to digest my food before I go to bed, right? And that you'll hear me talk about that all the time, just because it's so incredibly important to me to make sure that I give my body enough time to digest the food that I've eaten before I go to bed. And I want all of that blood to be able to go to my brain. And I don't really have a problem with getting enough calories in during that period because, 6 to 7 hours is quite a bit of time to be eating. But I really only eat 2 meals in that period. So I will eat at 11 or 12, and then I will eat again around 5 or 5:30. And I usually probably get 2,000 to 2,500 calories in there in those 2 meals, which is actually quite a bit of food. Now, the other way is to kind of flip that and have your big meal in the morning at breakfast. So eating after, you're essentially after you get up in the morning around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and then eating again at lunch, and then not eating for the rest of the day. Now, a lot of people, or a lot of scientists are finding that this is actually maybe the preferred way of doing intermittent fasting because it gives you so much more time between the last meal of the day, which is around 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the time you go to bed. So you have all of this time to digest this food and essentially empty your digestive tract before you go to bed. And you can see that you get that time to get that really great deep sleep in the first couple hours. And again, that's a really critical time because that's when your body is producing the most human growth hormone. So HGH is produced during that period. When you sleep is when men are producing their testosterone for the next day. So that first couple of hours of sleep is really, really important. And having your intermittent fasting set up to the point where you start eating breakfast and end your meals at lunchtime gives you a really, really long window before you go to bed. And I think you'd see a lot of positive benefits from that. The great thing about keto is that it changes the way we interact with food. It changes the way we feel about food. It changes the way we have hunger. Sorry about that. So I've been on keto for 3 years, and intermittent fasting has been fairly easy for me over the last couple of years, or the last year or so, because of my relationship with my hunger. I am no longer hungry because of social cues or cues on the clock or, just out of habit. I don't really look at food like that anymore. So that makes it really easy to choose when I'm going to eat and not be driven by these emotions and habits. So keto makes intermittent fasting really easy because I'm not driven by emotion or habit. So keto and intermittent fasting make an easy pair, make a great pair, and those two ways of doing it where you either are eating in the morning or essentially eating in the evening, both work really great, and I've done them both and had great success with both. Currently, I'm eating more in the evening and not eating in the morning. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm having great success.